right, everybody. Welcome out. Welcome out. My name is not Eric Melissa. It's Brian Davis, but I'm logged into Eric Zoom. And I just wanted to welcome all the advisors that came out this evening to join us for the Wednesday night onboarding workshop. So if you're new to Tipsy or you're new to the filings and you were sent here by a leader, welcome. I just want to take a quick moment to introduce myself. As I said, my name is Brian Davis, and I have been an entrepreneur my entire life. I have also, had very close proximity to restaurants and operations and hospitality, which is why when we started Tipsy, it made sense, right? I've already got a large contact, network in the restaurant industry. I've got a lot of contacts within the industry already. I know a lot of people that own restaurants, and chances are you do too. So tonight's purpose is to get you onboarded, get you plugged in, and get you ready to go and equipped with all the tools that you need to become a Tipsy advisor and hit the streets tomorrow and start getting those filings. Now, guys, with over 2,000 filings through the door already in 2025, that was just our beta. And our beta launch has started off. I actually just got some great news from our CPAs and from our people over at Tip Credit Partners that I'll be sharing at the end of the call for both advisors and leaders that are joining us tonight. So first and foremost, let me pop into everything that we got going on. So, guys, first question often I get, is what is Tipsy? What is the tip, the FICA tip tax credit? Well, you may or may not know this, but the FICA tip tax credit is a tax credit that's been around for a while, actually since the 90s. However, despite being around since the 90s, this has not been filed by 91% of businesses that qualify for filing it. So your job as a Tipsy advisor is to help simply bring value to restaurant and business owners and get them money in their pockets that they're owed that they didn't even know they were owed. And that's really the basic, outline of the job. If you've ever done door-to-door sales, if you've ever done solar, if you've ever done anything, this actually trumps that a little bit easier because as an advisor, you're not trying to sell anything. You're merely just helping get the restaurants and your clients into a portal, and our CPAs are taking all of the heavy lifting away from you and doing all the legwork, getting them filed up and getting their refunds submitted. You just have to manage your client. And I want to talk a little bit tonight because there's a lot of updates, for those that are joining us for a repeat time in terms of the filing processes. So let's just talk about the advisor. I want to just bring it in here, guys. We have a Tipsy Advisor webpage, tipsy.co/advisors. And you can apply now to be an advisor. Pretty cool beans, right? So, if you've applied to be an advisor through your leader that sent you here, or if you haven't applied yet, don't worry. If you're talking directly to one of our leaders, they'll get you onboarded and intaked. But let's say you just came through, and you're wondering what this onboarding workshop's all about. We've actually had some people, that have started to register. I want to talk about what the advisor role is. It's both it could be a part-time or a full-time position. Compensation potential is somewhere between 80 and 120,000 annually, and high-performing Tipsy advisors may even earn over 120,000 annually through commission-based compensation. That's very important to kind of put up the front here is that this is a commission-based role. So there is no salary, there is no hourly wage, but there's also no requirements in how many hours per week you can work as a Tipsy advisor. You could work 3 hours a week, you could work 5 hours a week, or you could work 100 hours a week. It doesn't matter, but obviously the more you put into something, the more you're going to get rewarded. And I think one of the great things about the Tipsy advisor role is that as a part-time job, even if you were just doing this as you were going out to restaurants anyways, to grab lunch, to grab dinner, to be with family and friends, you can really get this down pat in terms of being able to land clients and to expand your portfolio. So let's talk about the role and let's talk about everything that it has and everything that's included within this role. This is a 1099 independent contractor opportunity. It's not an employment position. As we said, you're independently able to work at your own pace and your own schedule. And your job is simple. It's very, very simple. You're going to go into restaurants, or you're going to call restaurants, or you're going to have friends or family or service owners that provide services to restaurants that you're going to network with. And you just simply need to make them aware of the tax filing. And once you make them aware of the tax filing, you're having them go into our intake form. I want to talk about the intake form real quick, guys, because something's changed here, and this is important. Number one, when you're a Tipsii advisor, you're going to get your own replicated web page with Tip Credit Partners. If you're wondering who Tip Credit Partners is, Tip Credit Partners is who we've partnered with to be able to get these filings across the table for the business owners. Tipsii is the team that you're a part of that's created some beautiful, snazzy marketing that's going to allow us to really attract and give a red carpet experience for all of our business owners that are going to be involved. And we are building out some beautiful features inside the web page, guys, but we'll go over that soon. But when you come in as a Tipsii advisor, you're going to get your own replicated web page. So the first step is to get back to the leader that invited you in. And when they get you a link to sign up, you're going to log into a dashboard. This is your command center. This is how you're going to manage your business. This is how you're going to manage your clients. This is your one-stop shop for everything that you need to manage your clients. We got our demo account here for John Smith, right? And if you check it out, down here, you're going to see some new colors if you're repeat joining us here. The new colors are, we've changed the fee. So one of the great things about the Tipsii program, guys, and the Tip Credit Partners, filings here is that everything that our CPAs do for these business owners is pro bono, which means that we don't charge anything up front for the businesses to get started for this tax filing. In fact, it's a very simple process. We're going to go over that a little bit later in the call. We charge on the back end. We charge 25%. This used to be 30. I know you guys may, again, who's repeat here, may be used to the 30. And the reason we brought it down to 25 is a proactive approach, is because this has started to take off actually pretty quickly here in the last part of the year, going into the new part. The guys over at Tip Credit Partners said, you know what? There's some regulations with the IRS that could deem 30% maybe too high for a filing fee. All right. So they're ahead of the curve. We've lowered that down to a 25% fee. So what does that mean? If you're new, you're probably, what are you talking about? 25, 30? I don't know. But basically, we do this filing pro bono. And then after the refund comes back from the IRS, that's when our CPAs take their fee. That's when the accountants that are refiling the taxes, making the amendments for the business owners, are going to take their fee of 25%. You'll also see a 20% fee down here, but you'll also see here that if somebody is to come in at a 20%, you're going to have to talk to the team. 25 is a pretty reasonable fee. So I want to just bring up a sheets here because, the best way to do it is visual. I'm a visual learner. I know some of you guys may be too. So let me just get out of this. And we'll just make a brand new sheet together tonight. Okay. Tipsii training. All right. So make some columns here, make them nice and big so everyone can see them. Put some lines around it, make our font nice and big. So, guys, when a business owner comes in and files with us, we'll just call this the business owner. They're going to receive a refund after our CPAs do an amendment to the last 3 years of their taxes. This amendment is going to allow us to get the refund check. And it's simple as that, right? So we'll show you how to intake business owners a little bit later. But in simple terms, we're doing an amendment to their last 3 years of taxes. Once that amendment is filed, the IRS sends a check to the business owner. Now, on average, guys, it's important to note it's about a 4 or 5 month average, right? 3 or 4 in a good, in a good sense, but let's just say 4 or 5 to be safe. So you're going to have to build a pipeline. If you're a Tipsii advisor, you're going to have to build a pipeline for the first few months here. But as you do, the filings will start to come back week after week after week for you. And that's an important runway that you guys have to recognize. Now, once the business owner receives a refund, that's when our CPAs will take their fee. And then you, as a Tipsii advisor, will make your commission. All right. So let's just talk about what that looks like. Let's say a business owner right now, the average business owner is getting 54,000 back. Well, we just learned our CPA fee, right? It's 25%. So on the average filing right now, our CPAs will take 13,500. This is where you come in as a Tipsii advisor because your commission on that filing fee is going to be 5%. Bam. $675. Not too shabby. Now, even though the average filing is 54,000, it's important to note that I've actually seen the mix of businesses that have come through for the first couple thousand filings here. And a majority of the businesses are cafes, small bars, coffee shops. And these businesses don't have as many tipped employees as full service restaurants, diners. These are the restaurants that you're going to want to go after: casinos, nightclubs, strip clubs. This tax credit is available for any business that serves food and drinks and has tipped employees. But the more tips, the more of a refund. So you want to go after the big dogs. You can go after the small dogs, don't worry, but you're not going to get as big of a refund if the tips aren't as great. So in a full service restaurant, most of the wages that the servers are receiving are tips. 90% sometimes of a server's paycheck is going to be tips. But if you go to Dunkin' Donuts, 5% of each employee's paycheck is tips, right? So you can see the proportion there because this is a tax credit on the taxes that were paid by the business owner on the tips of their employees. So the more tips, the merrier is the rule of thumb here. And I really want to show you guys, what's possible, because even though 54,000 is the average, we've gotten a high-end sushi restaurant $500,000 back. Well, check that out. You just 10 extra commission as an advisor. You made $6,250. We've gotten a Texas Roadhouse $1.3 million back. Bam. Oh my gosh, look at that. That'd be a $16,250 commission off of a Texas Roadhouse that had 1.3 million coming back. We got a group of 17 Domino's, $1.7 million back. Franchise owner, 17 different Domino's. Look at that, a $21,250 commission off of a one owner that owns 17 Domino's. So you guys can play around and really see the potential here. But I really just wanted to go back to the average filing amount, right? 54,000. That's where we're sitting at right now. And I want to show you how, if you just get one filing a week, what that looks like for you guys for the year. So let's say you're just an advisor that's going to go out and do this part-time, few hours a week, go to 4 or 5 different places, you get one of them to file. Well, just with one filing a week, guys, you'd be sitting about $35,100 for the year. And that's assuming all your refunds are the exact same at the average filing amount. Some may be lower, some may be higher, right? We just saw how you can make 20,000 commission off of just one owner of 17 Domino's. So obviously these numbers can skew, but I just really want to show what's possible. What happens if you go out and you make this a job where you feel like you want to try to get 2 filings a week? What type of pipeline are you going to build then? 650 times 2 times 52. What about 3 filings a week? Right? You go out for 3 days, 4 or 5 hours a day. You just get 1 filing out of each of those days. You just crack 6 figures. And that just shows you that off of a commission job where you're just going out and getting 1, 2, or 3 filings a week, how easy it is to crack 6 figures as an advisor within the ecosystem that we've built. So I just really want to put out I'm a big believer of disclosing what's possible for income. Of course, results may vary. It's really based off of you and your determination as an advisor. But this just goes to show what's possible right out the gate. Off of not that, there's been a lot of jobs that I've held. I've held jobs in, door-to-door sales for Verizon Fios back in the day. We were lucky if we got like 70 or 80 or $90 commission, off of one of those people signing up. There's not many places you can go where just with 3 filings a week, you can crack 6 figures. All right. So let's go a little bit more into the role now that we've covered business, now that we've covered money. All right. Now, as I mentioned, we've partnered with Tip Credit Partners. When you sign up to be a advisor, you'll instantly gain access to your back office. And in your back office, you're going to have direct access to sign up page as well as the information page. The sign up page, if you copy your link, is going to bring you directly to your very own intake form for the businesses. We're going to show how to intake a business here in a second. Now, the information page is going to bring you directly to your own replicated web page for Tip Credit Partners. This is important because this is your own unique page, just like this is your own unique sign-in that's going to help you manage your clients. All right. And on your own unique page, you have access to some pretty cool tools that do the selling for you. Often people are like, well, what do I say to restaurant owners? How do I talk to people? I don't know what to do. Well, step one is education. We'll be teaching education in our weekly training calls that will be coming up at the end of January. But we also have created a bunch of training materials for you to review now, or maybe your leaders will review them with you. The best reviewed resource page is the web page. Everything you need right here, is right on the page. Who qualifies? Restaurants, bars, hotels, and hospitality business with tipped employees. We just went over that, right? How much? Up to 7.65% of qualified tip income. For a restaurant with 20 tipped employees, that's about $20,000 per year in credits. How much am I owed? Let's bust out our handy dandy calculator. If you have an iPad, bring this into the store with you. If you have your phone, bring this into the store with you. Have it up. When you're having conversations with these business owners, you're able to really quickly just type in some figures. One restaurant, I've got 20 employees, and the average income is, $35,000 a year. And, they work 40 hours a week each, and 60% of their wages is tips, and their hourly wage. Look at that. 20 employees, full-time servers is going to get you around $100,000 back for a restaurant. That's why I said, even though the average is at 54,000 right now, guys, we're not going after the full service restaurants. A full service restaurant, even a smaller one, usually has about 15, 20 employees. Even at 15 employees, you're looking at a $72,000 credit back. So it's really awesome to be able to utilize this calculator tool. Coming to a store near you, we're going to be creating awesome customized pages on the Tipsii webpage. These will be available for purchase for advisors. cost to be determined, where you'll be able to send people directly to tipsy.co/Brian. Why are we doing Tipsii? Because of the branding, guys. Because this is a top shelf experience versus this has no personalization to you. We want them to see your face when they submit their filings. So, hey, my name's Brian. I work with Tipsii. I've partnered with Tip Credit Partners to help bring back restaurants some tax filings they had no idea about. You can go through your whole entire spiel. You can go through your whole thing, but pretty soon you'll be able to have your own website here where you can calculate the credit. Brings them to the website where they can contact you and reach out to you via phone, tipsy.co/Brian, right? They'll see your phone number here. And when they're ready to get started, it brings them straight to the intake. Let's talk about the intake so you guys can really see how simple it is to get businesses rocking and rolling here. So for sake of example tonight, let's come up with a fun company name. Tooth Fairy LLC. We need to speak directly to business owners, guys, or people that have access to the business owners. You'll see why in a second. But I'm going to show you how easy it is to get a restaurant started into the process. All right. So that's just going to ask them to create a profile here with a password because there is a client portal. And the client portal is the way that these business owners, whoops, password doesn't match, are going to be able to track and communicate directly with the CPAs, and we're going to be able to communicate with them. Check it out. All right. Still says 30%. It's a fun little catch. I'll let our guys over at Tip Credit Partners know. So once they fill out their basic information, up will pop this agreement. This is the longest part of the process, is reading through this agreement. And it's not that long. You know, it looks long, but you can read through this in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe if you're a slower reader. It auto-populates the signature for the business owner, and then they submit it. Once they submit it, they're going to be brought to this 90-second video. Let's check it out.
Your refund is just a few clicks away. Before we get started, let's quickly through why we need certain information and how we keep it secure. Security is our top priority. We use bank-level encryption end-to-end. Your data is never sent by email. Everything is protected in a secure portal and is never shared or sold. And your information is only used to verify your identity, to pull your IRS transcripts, and to file your tip tax refund. So what do we need? First, your EIN and business address. This is required to claim the specialized Section 45B tip credit for your business and tie the refund to the correct entity. We also need your Social Security number for 2 reasons: to verify your ownership of the entity with the IRS, and so the IRS can issue your cash refund and deposit it correctly. Here's what happens next. On the next page, we'll autofill the IRS Form 8821 for your e-signature. This standard form allows our CPAs to view your IRS transcripts and calculate your refund. This is a standard procedure. It doesn't authorize filing, bank access, or changes. Simply review and sign the pre-filled form without making changes. Remember, there's zero upfront cost. Our handling fee is only paid from the actual IRS refund going to your bank account. Go ahead and complete the fields now. When you click on Continue, you'll be able to review and e-sign the form. This allows us to calculate and file your refund right away.
All right. Sorry for those technical difficulties in the middle, but we all heard it. We get the gist of it. So this is just explaining to the business owner why we need their social security number, why we need their EIN. And as I heard from a really good friend over at Tip Credit Partners on a call with them, it's best to be transparent with your business owners. As an advisor, nobody likes surprises, you know? Uh, no one likes get into surprises. So you don't have to be secretive about this, guys. We're looking to get them some money back from the IRS. And the reason why we need their social security number is you heard it. We need to be able to access the tax information for the business owner. We need to be able to verify that we're actually talking to the business owner of the actual business who owns the business. And we need to be able to get the EIN so that we can get the tax information from the business, right? So down here below, it has us put the EIN in. Has us put the business address in. Just put some random addresses in here. Puts us the social security number needs to be put in, as well as the home address of the business owner. If they have multiple businesses, they can select yes here. For sake of example, we'll just stay no. And after that, guys, up pops the 8821 form. This is the tax authorization form that's going to allow our CPAs to get started with the tax filings for the business. It auto-populates the information with the address and the information that's provided. They're going to fill out two of these forms, one for their business, and they're going to sign it. And then it's going to say, whoop, hang tight, please note. There's one more document they may pop up. It looks the same, but it's not. It's going to be one for their personal. So up pops another 8821 form for their personal, and they sign it. Awesome. After they're done, thank you. And it's that easy to get a business owner enrolled and getting started to get their filing. Now, it's important to kind of talk through what happens next. Okay. They're going to receive an email and they're going to, I actually just got word with some of the updates that are coming. What's going to end up happening is instead of this thank you screen, it's going to be directing the business owners directly to their client portals in the very near future. So that's going to be cool. So that they know that the client portal's there. Why are we doing that? Well, we've noticed that there's been a little bit of a holdup when it comes to the clients dragging their feet for the additional information that needs to be gathered from them, because there is additional information that does need to be gathered from them. Now, with what they just filled out here, our business owners are going to be able to get a general sense of how much is owed back to them for a refund. You're going to see here, I've got a bunch of example businesses, and these example businesses, I want to highlight, this is what's going to happen on our end as advisors or leaders. This is what we're going to see, right? On our end for submissions. So once a client fills it out, let's say they just signed that first agreement, but they didn't fill out the 8821 forms. Well, it looks something like this. You see, this is the agreement in the green bubble, but these are the red forms that they're missing. If they haven't filled them out, you can click this button right here, send a document sign request, and you can send an email directly out to the client reminding them, hey, you started this, but you didn't finish it. Okay? That's the first thing you need to do for your client management. You need to pop back here and make sure your clients are filling out all three of their forms. Now, the next thing you need to do is you need to monitor your clients. There's going to be some changes coming to this over the coming weeks as this continues to build out for all advisors and leaders. I want to go through those changes with you. The changes are going to be more visibility for you as a client manager and as a Tipsii advisor. You're managing your clients. Right now, you can scroll down and you can see the documents. You can see the emails that have been sent to the client. You can see here, this one, they signed the merchant agreement. You can see the status right? So here it shows that the onboarding package was sent, right? The tax transcripts were requested from the IRS because with the basic intake form, guys, we'll have a general idea of how much the client is going to get back. So just by filling these three forms out, this number will populate a refund total, usually within 2 to 3 weeks, because they're going to have a general idea of how much is coming back for the credit. So then as the business owner logs in, they'll see 50,000, 100,000, whatever it is. They'll see that right here, right? But we're going to need to gather additional information from the clients in order to complete these filings. What is this additional information? Well, before the CPAs were kind of emailing back and forth, but now we've got these notes in here that we'll see. And as the weeks go on, we'll actually be able to visibly see the emails. We're just working on, making sure we keep some of the information private for the business owners that we don't really need to see, that only the CPAs need to see. Again, making sure everything's encrypted and in compliance. But you'll see here, hey, Alan, we need you to upload a document for the FICA tip credit. Here's what we need. We need the years 2022, 23, and 24, your 940 forms. What's your 940 forms? I'm glad you asked. Your 940 forms are I have a document I'm bringing up. Hang tight. Ba-ba-bum. Ba-ba-bum. Copy. Ba-ba-bum. Ooh, my trading plan. I haven't used that since 2022. Here we go. The 940 forms are the annual federal unemployment tax return forms. The business owner can easily get this straight from their payroll company. We need the last 3 years. They're also going to ask for the 941 forms. This is a quarterly report, also pulled from payroll, quarterly payroll tax return forms for the last 3 years. All right. And we're going to need the last 3 years of their business taxes and their personal taxes. But at this point in the game, guys, remember, they already have a rough idea of how much their refund is. So they know that the only thing standing in the way of them and their $50,000, $100,000, $150,000 check is submitting these forms. And you can see here, we're not reaching out. Tabitha's reaching out, or Mindy, or one of the people over at Tip Credit Partners. But it's your job as an advisor to make sure that they're answering them. So when you see your businesses, right, and you see that they haven't responded in 27 days, that's what this number is here, or 18 days, these are your clients. 3 days. You want to reach out to your clients and say, hey, you got sent an email. Did you see it? Oh, I don't even know. No, I didn't see it. Have you logged into your client portal? These are your clients, guys. So it's up to you as an advisor to manage your clients. So you're going to want to go back here to your client section pretty frequently as part of your job, once a day. Doesn't take too much just to come back here and scan and see where your people are at in the process, right? The only heavy lifting that you're doing is just monitoring and making sure your clients are getting through the process. After those documents are received, chances are they're done. But in rare cases, because every business is different, and you'll see, Tip Credit Partners provided a link here for this person to put these documents in, so they just go to the document link and they can submit their documents right here. Now it's up to you if you want to talk about, the fact that they're going to have to submit these documents, these quarterly payroll tax documents and these annual tax returns up front, or if you want to just, you know, wait for the CPAs to reach out to them via an email like you see here. But like I said, guys, the intake process, we just saw how fast it was, 10 or 15 minutes, and that's all it takes for somebody to get rocking and rolling. And within a few weeks, they're going to know what their refund is. After they know what their refund is, we gather the rest of the information for the business, and it's off to the races. They may have to go back one more time after this, but there we go. And that's basically the role as an advisor. That's your role. Your role is to monitor your clients, and your role is to intake restaurants, and your role is to be able to speak about the refund. So let's talk about how you're able to speak about the refund. Like I said, the best thing that you can do is study. Where can you study? You can study at the webpage, read through the Tip Credit Partners webpage. Let's get all the FAQs right down here. You can become an expert at answering these. How much can my business claim? Remember, it's up to 7.65% last 3 years. You're going to know this type of stuff off the top of your hand. What types of documentation do I need? Tells you right here. Right? Is there a fee for your service? Does this affect any other tax incentives? So this is one place you can go to study, is your actual replicated Tip Credit Partners webpage. We also have some great information on the Tipsii webpage as well. Pretty much replicated it. We have our FAQs replicated to their FAQs down here at the bottom, right? It's pretty much a mirror with just fancy branding. The other place you can go to study is your back office in the knowledge base. Come on, knowledge base. Load up. While we wait for the knowledge base to load up, the last place you can go study is tipsii.co/advisor. Scroll down. This is where you start as an advisor. Your getting started guide that we've created for you. So right on tipsii.co/advisor, you click view guide, and it brings you straight to how to get started, because everybody needs to know where to get started. I know I've shared a lot of information tonight. You're like, where the heck do I start? What's step one? Step one, go to tipsii.co/advisor and click that getting started button. Getting started guide. It's going to bring you directly to the guide that's going to get you started. It's going to go over the onboarding workshop that we're going over tonight. This is last week's recording. I'm going to put this week's recording in here next. That gets updated regularly. This document gets updated regularly. It's going to talk about how to master your back office. It's going to talk about onboarding new restaurant clients. It's going to talk about client management. It's going to talk about how to print your marketing materials. Ooh, marketing materials. You think we were going to leave you guys empty-handed? We've created some handy-dandy marketing materials here. Click the document in the Getting Started guide. It brings you straight to the Tipsii Marketing Materials guide. You can click and watch this YouTube video if you don't know how to do the marketing materials. And we'll show you. We'll show you exactly how to make your own custom Tipsii flyers, Show you how to get the QR codes, put them in there with Canva. For those that are familiar with Canva, maybe you don't need to watch the video. We've got a single page flyer, a trifold flyer, and a business card. You're able to click right here and go directly to Canva. Bam. Looks like somebody already put their QR code in there. Just delete it out. Add your own. We've got the single page flyer. We've got the trifold flyer. Look at that. Lori was up in here. Sorry for showing your phone number. But right, you can put your QR codes right in here, get your flyers rocking. And we've got the business cards. So you guys are able to come in here. Now I advise, so that we don't put your information inside here, when you do get into Canva, go into here and click make a copy. And then you can have your own copy inside of your Canva account. That way you're not giving the next person that's coming in as advisor your phone number. But that's just a little side note. It's no big deal. You can just redo it, but that's the best way to do it, right, guys? Is just make a copy so you have your own personal copy. It's free to make a Canva account. What's great about all of these is you can either print them at home at your at-home printer, or right over here on the side, you can actually get them delivered straight to your door. Gloss finish, matte finish, they'll actually fold them for you. They come folded already. You want 100 of them? 10 of them? 150 of them? The more you buy, the cheaper they are. So if you want to order them, you can do that as well. So the Getting Started Guide is a great place. It's going to talk about the Resource Hub, right? The Resource Hub is also on the tipsii.co/advisor page. If you go down on the advisor page, you'll see right here, the Advisor Resource Hub. This is constantly also being added to. In here, you'll find not only the Getting Started Guide, but you'll also find the Objection Handling Guide, the restaurant scripts. Maybe you want to send somebody a text message real quick, or maybe you're going to walk in, or maybe you're going to, talk to a GM or an owner. This goes through step by step how to speak to your clients, how to speak to your restaurants. And we'll be adding some more resources in here later this week. As I said, we'll be holding these onboarding workshops every single Wednesday, where we'll be dropping little updates as they come. But we'll also be holding some training calls where we'll be diving deeper into the role-playing components, overcoming objections, and diving deeper into some of these resources for those that learn in a video setting better than just being handed a bunch of things to read. Because we know that there's all different types of learners out there. So in a nutshell, guys, that is the Tipsii Advisor role. I'm going to open it up for questions. I see that some things came through the chat. So I'm going to read those and see if there's anything in there that pops up first. And then we'll feel free to ask any questions that you have. And we'll pop into it. Is there a checklist as a guide? Are you sending us a QR code? I tried to do QR code, but had no clue. Hello, hello, hellos. All right. QR codes are really simple, guys. QR codes are as simple as going to Google and typing in free QR code generator. There's a million of them that you can go to, right? This is one of them. I like to find one that is a circle, but all you do is you go to your Tip Credit Partners back office and you copy either your information page or your sign up page, depending on what you're doing, right? The trifold flyers, if you're doing your business card, you want to get them to the intake form. So the back one has the calculator here. Don't worry about changing this one. This one is generic. The calculator is the same for everybody. There's no special calculator. So you can leave that one. You just need one here in the front for your intake form. So your intake form is the sign up page. So you're just going to copy that link right in there and paste it into any QR code making web page, and bam, just generated a QR code for me. There it is right there. You can save that image as whatever you want. And now you've got a QR code saved for your flyers, for your business cards. Now with the trifold flyers, you've got a couple of places that you could scan. Right here, you could scan directly to your information page or your sign up page. Here you could put your information page. You got 3 QR code spots. Again, the calculator can stay the same, but you've got 2 other places you can put QR codes. We recommend putting the intake form on the back page, the information page on the front page. What's the information page? The information page is your replicated web page. This right here. Or if you decide to purchase your own Tipsii website, maybe it's this page right here, tipsii.co/Brian. Maybe it's this one, right? So these are the places where you're going to be able to go and then put those right into your QR code generators to be able to make your flyers. Perfect. What other questions can I answer for you fine folks this evening? I tried to do a QR code. I think that's the same thing. I tried to do a QR code, but had no clue. Now, I'm not sure if I'm signed up. Sue, can you elaborate on that question real quickly in the chat for me? Hopefully I answered the question. If I did answer the question, that's fine. You can put that in there as well. But any other questions tonight, guys? Happy to answer them. Sue, you are an advisor. I can tell you the email address and I can resend you a login for your back office if you want. I do have you in our system. Awesome. Cool. How do we sign people under us? Maureen, that question is just for leaders. Tonight's an advisor workshop. So advisors don't sign up other advisors, only leaders can bring in advisors. If you have applied to be a leader, then you're welcome to do as such. All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, thanks for coming out to the Tipsii Onboarding Workshop. We're looking forward to 2026. Like I said, we've had about 2,000 filings come through for 2025. And I know that there's over 1 million businesses in the United States that are food and beverage related that have tipped employees. And that means there's 1 million businesses out there that we can tap into that 91% have not filed. Looking forward to some exciting updates for the clients in their back offices. Looking forward to a lot of the things as they continue to build out and make an amazing process. They're going to be gamifying things back there for the clients. So they're going to have, confetti pop up once they submit their, tax returns and stuff. And there'll be like a progress bar, sort of like you see it like the Domino's delivery progress. Like we're making your pizza, the pizza's going in the oven. We gave it to the delivery driver. I just heard from Tip Credit Partners that they're going to be having a nice progress bar in the back office for the clients to be able to really see where they're at in their process. Right now, they can see that refund amount after they do that basic intake that we went over tonight. And then after that, basically it's just been email communications back and forth in threads. So as that client dashboard, continues to get better and better, it'll be a little bit more of a visually great experience back there for the clients as we come out of the beta, which was the last quarter of 2025, and into the full launch here in the first quarter of 2026. So if you still need to get locked and loaded into your back office, get back to the Tipsy leader that invited you to the call tonight. If you registered on our webpage, well, then be looking for a call if you applied directly through our webpage, because I know we've received a couple applications already. So exciting stuff. And looking forward to continued conversations, guys, and continued trainings as the month goes on. Hope everyone has a great rest of their evening
Right.
and
Thank you, Brian.
take care.